In this video, I'm going to show you how to install kitchen base cabinets. And if you're new to this channel, my name's Josh. This channel is all about DIY to save a ton of money. So be sure to subscribe, ring that bell so you get a notification every time I release a new video, and hammer that like button for me. That's all I ask in return for making this video. So we got a lot to go over today, so let's get started. This is video one of a three-part series. In the next video, we'll be installing the kitchen wall upper cabinets, followed up by installing the laminate countertops. Here's the kitchen area where we will be installing the kitchen cabinets. The very first base cabinet that needs installed is the corner base cabinet. You always start from the corner and work out, and that goes for the same for the wall cabinets as well when we get to that in the next video. It's very important that we find the highest point where the cabinets are going to be setting. And the reason why that is, if you start out, let's say there's a 1/4 inch hump here in the middle of the floor and we start out with an 1/8 inch shim, once we get to that 1/4 inch hump, it's going to elevate an 1/8 inch higher than we need to be, and you're going to have a hump in your cabinets and your countertops won't sit right. So it's very important that you start out at the correct elevation. So we need to find the highest point of the cabinet run first. You can use a 4-foot level and you can check across the floor, and wherever you have the highest or lowest point, you can mark that so you know where it's at. But the easiest way is to use a laser level. We're going to turn the laser level on, and then we can set this at any height. We just need an area in which we can measure down to. So we're going to take our tape measure and we're going to measure across where the cabinets will be setting, 40 1/4. After checking around where the base cabinets will be sitting, I found that it's a 3/8 difference from the highest to lowest point. The highest point is actually back in the corner, which is great because if we start out with a shim in the back corner, then we know we'll be higher than the rest of the kitchen's run. This is the very first cabinet that's to be installed in a kitchen. It's the corner base cabinet, and in this case, it's a Lazy Susan. And these actually came from Lowe's, and I'll put a link to them in the description below if you want to check them out for yourself. But this is going to be taken over here in the corner to start out with. Here's the layout of the kitchen. This is what you will get from the designer from Lowe's or wherever you get your kitchen design from. They're all going to be very similar. If you take a look, we're going to be installing the base cabinets. That's the ones around the side here. The W stands for wall cabinet. The B stands for base. You can see this is a B30, meaning it's a base cabinet that's 30 inches wide. And W30 by 30 would be 30 inches wide, 30 inches tall. We're going to start with this base cabinet here, and it's 36 inches each way. And this one would be a base cabinet of 24 inches butting up to it, then a base cabinet of 27 inches. Just so you know how to read the layout, that's how you would do it. If you're enjoying this type of content, then you'll definitely want to check out the Excellent Labor course membership. Get instant access to all the DIY courses and downloads for just $5 a month at the time of this recording. And the best part, the library is growing, but your price won't if you lock it in today. Check out the link in the description to get started. All right, we're going to slide this right back into the corner to see what we got here. To set the base cabinets, you're going to need shims, and depending on how many cabinets you got and how unlevel your floor is going to depend on how many shims you need. Here we're going to place one shim back in this corner because that's close to the highest spot. So we're going to go in about an 1/8 inch, and that should set the tone for the rest of the run at the correct elevation. So I'm going to just slide this back here. Now that we have our starter shim in, we can now level up this base cabinet. I'm going to work my way out from the shimmed corner, and then we're going to pry this side up to get it level with the back corner. So I'm going to take my Wonder Bar, slide it under here so I can adjust it easy. Slide that shim until we're level. All right, we have that perfectly level. We're now going to flip our level this way, then we're going to level it up from this back corner to this front corner. And when we place the shims here in the front, we're going to slide them in from the front like this, so that way our next cabinet will sit on this shim equally. All right, now that we are leveled that way, we're going to double check back here and place shims, and then that base cabinet will be leveled up. All right, the cabinet is setting perfectly level, checking it every direction. So that would tell me that this cabinet is set. These back shims, because they're placed in like a wedge, so we know it's higher here, so our next cabinet would be elevated in the back higher than it should be. So after we have the cabinet set, we want to come through and we want to slide these in so that we have a area in which it's not sloped. So we're going to slide one with the thick side back first, and we'll slide the thin side in now. And that's going to give us a flat area to set our next cabinet on, and we'll remove these shims that we placed initially. So now we have a flat area to set the back of the cabinet on. Now we need to place cleats in the back corner of this cabinet to catch countertop. Because this back corner is typically hollow on these base cabinets so that the corner doesn't catch and cause issues, because of that, we need to add cleats back here to catch our countertop. So whether you're installing granite countertop, you're installing laminate, whatever it is, still needs support. So we're going to take our level, place it flat on top of the base cabinet, then we're going to mark underneath and do the same over here. All right, so as you can see, we got a line here to go off of now for our cleats. To install the cleats in the back corner, we're going to use a 2x4 on this side, and that's it. Typically, we would use 1x lumber, and we would place one on this side and this side, except our stud here isn't till clear over here. So if we come on this wall, there's really no support until this back corner anyway. So we're just going to take a 2x4, which is a little thicker, and it's going to catch this whole back corner. So we're going to install this now. All we have to do is pre-drill and hit into a stud to secure the cleat. I'm going to locate the stud with the tap test. It should be in line with this outlet's edge, but we'll check. Sounds like it's right here. We're going to double check. All right, we definitely hit a stud right there. So whenever we pre-drill for this, we need to make sure that we mark it on a stud, which actually ends up being right here towards the end of it. So right here, we need to place our screw. When using screws to secure this, make sure they're not too long in case there's an electrical wire. I got 3-inch screws for this 1.5-inch material, 2.5 for the 1x lumber. Now we just place this right on our line and secure it. We now have our cleat to catch the countertop. The next cabinet that goes here is the sink base. The sink base is going to have several cuts and holes drilled in it to be installed in this case. Yours might be totally different, but with this, we need to cut the back out to have an opening for our dishwasher and for our drain. And we have 2 plumbing pipes here, a hot and cold water line, and they need cut or drilled out for in the bottom of the sink base to come up through. And we also need to cut the front out for this vent to allow air to come out so it ventilates properly. And something very important, whenever you're getting your measurements off this cabinet for these water lines, we need to make sure that you compensate for the lip here that's on the face of the cabinet. Whenever they go together, it's going to add a 1/2-inch difference if you're measuring right off the edge of this cabinet, so keep that in mind. The 1/2 inch is calculated by adding a 1/4 inch for this cabinet, then a 1/4 inch for this cabinet face. So if we take a measurement here, we need to allow the 1/2 inch difference, so essentially we need to come over a 1/2 inch when we get these measurements. We marked a square on the back to be cut out. You can use a jigsaw here or a circular saw. We're just going to use a circular saw and cut that out. This cut does not have to be very precise. A lot of cabinets even come without the back in them, just so you know. On the base of this cabinet, I need to cut out for the vent. This is a 3-inch wide by 10-inch long vent, and they make different sizes, but you want to make sure whatever you do when you cut it out that these screw holes here are not cut out too much. But here's a good thing, if you do, the toe kick still goes over this and you could always fix that there. But it's nice to have that reinforcement in general. So we're going to cut a 3 by 10-inch square here right in the center of this base cabinet. I'm going to drill this out with a paddle bit, 3/4 inch, just get these corners out. And here you can use a jigsaw, sawzall, whatever it takes to get in here and cut this out. Now when we install the toe kick, we'd cut that same hole out before we install this vent over that. When we set this base cabinet, we gotta lift it up to clear these pipes, then slide it over these pipes. All right, we're going to go straight down on top of those shims. With the bottom of this sink base tight against the first corner cabinet, I'm going to place my level across the back, And we want to make sure that we shim this up tight with that cabinet and make sure we level it from here to there, just like we did our first corner cabinet. Now from here to here. And you'll note that down here we are on our shim from the previous cabinet, so it's already setting. So we just got to level this over. All right, that looks really good. The cabinet is setting level. You also want to check this way to make sure it's okay as well. And that looks really good there. So now we got to attach the face of the base cabinet to the corner cabinet. To connect the two cabinets together, we're going to be using 2 1/4 trim head screws. It's very important to use screws here and not nails because they're going to help draw this gap closed. So that's what I would highly recommend, is to use screws. I have used deck screws in previous videos, but trim head screws might be a little better because it is less apt to split the face. But you could use deck screws, just be careful and use a nice countersink. So what I have here is a square bit for the screws. Then I got a drill bit that's the proper size for whatever screws you get. And I got my 2 clamps. So all we have to do here is open up these doors. And we're going to clamp together the face. We're going to start by clamping together up here at the top. You can see I drew that together real nice. Make sure we're flush. That looks good. And we can do the same here. And if you have to, you can take your door off if you've got to clamp together the center. So just keep that in mind. And this, I'll put the clamp underneath here. All right, we've got a clamp at the top and at the bottom. I'm going to drill through the side of this face frame into the side of the other cabinet. And you want to make sure that you don't angle your drill out because you could risk going through the front of the cabinet, which is really a big no-no. You want to drill to make sure you go straight into the other cabinet. We're now going to place a trim screw in through that hole. We are now connected on the face. As you can see, that looks really good. And we want to make sure that we do this in the top, middle, and bottom. I do notice that there are pre-drilled holes here and here in this cabinet, so you may have that as well. All right, we can shut these doors here and remove our clamps. And our faces are now together. Now I need to address the back corner where they go together. When we set base cabinets, we place screws through the back at the upper support into the frame of the wall. So each stud will try to hit using a deck screw. And we want to make sure that we are spaced the best we can over here. Right here is a 1/2 inch gap that we need or should have there. Sometimes if your wall's not perfectly straight, it's difficult to get that correct. But that's okay if you don't, just as long as that it's spaced the best you can and that we are tight against this wall. So you can see that looks good. So we need to locate our studs and place a screw in them. We have a stud marked here, so we're going to hit a stud. Sometimes if you ever tighten those screws, they will draw the front of the cabinet up, so watch for that. That's why you want to make sure your cabinet is tight against the wall before driving the screw. And place a deck screw tight to the wall. And that's really going to strengthen up the cabinets. And if you want, you can place a screw here through your shim or 1/2 inch board and then cut it off flush. But since we're anchored to the wall, we can remove this and we're going to keep our spacing the way we want it. Beside the sink base is going to be the dishwasher. Most dishwashers are 24 inches and that's what the plans are here. We need to come over 24.5 inches because we need to allow for the face of the cabinet like I mentioned before. So we're going to come off this edge here, 24.5 inches and make a mark on the wall. And that's going to be the edge of our next cabinet. When we install this cabinet, same idea. We just level it up with this cabinet. I'm going to take the 4-foot level right off the edge of that cabinet. We're going to get a level line here to line up this cabinet with when we go to install it. So right there is perfectly level. We're going to make a mark here on the wall. We know that whenever we set this cabinet, the back of it needs to be level with that line. You will notice after you get the hang of setting the first couple cabinets, the rest of the cabinets go together really quick. The The process of installing the base cabinets is repetitive. Like the old saying goes, once you set one base cabinet, you set them all. It's not like finishing drywall that takes a ton of practice to get really good at, but it is definitely something you want to take your time to do to make sure you get them set right. This floor is actually a prime example of why you need to check, see if your floor is level, and why you need to start with a shim that's going to be at least higher than the highest point of the run. This cabinet back here actually ended up being level, sitting flat on the floor, and it's the highest point. And if you look around here, the shims come up just about 3/8 of an inch actually. So I got lucky I started out as high as I did back here, because any lower would have had to reset these cabinets. So that's just something to take note of, and that's how important it is to start out correctly. Now that all the base cabinets are set, we need to cut all the shims before installing the toe kick. To cut the shims, there's a few ways. They do make a shim saw. It's a manual saw. You use your base as a guide and then cut it that way. You can use an oscillating tool, which that's what I'll be using, or you could even take a utility knife, hold pressure down on the cabinet, score it, then lift it up and snap it. I like the oscillating tool. It seems to be the quicker, more convenient option. So we're going to cut these shims now. As you can see, now when we place our toe kick on, they're going to be under and behind the toe kick, so it's going to look really good. Even while using the oscillating tool, down pressure on the cabinet definitely helps keep the shim in place while you're cutting them. This is what's called toe kick. Again, it's more or less just a piece of trim that covers up the base and the shims. If we slide this back tight in the corner, we're going to bring it out here and mark it to length in order to cut it correctly. All we got to do is mark behind it. In this one, after we cut it to length, we're going to have to cut out for our vent. I'm just going to cut this using a miter saw. Here's the piece cut to length. We're going to lay it up to where it needs cut out for that vent. Just going to place it back into the corner and then just mark the edge here. And we know that's going to be where we got to cut out for our vent. So we're going to mark and cut that out similar to how we cut out the base in general. When cutting the toe kick out for the vent, I did use the oscillating tool to give me a little cleaner cut compared to the Sawzall, but a jigsaw would work fine too. Whatever it takes to make a decent cut's all you need. Now that I have the vent cut out, I'm going to dry fit it into place, make sure it lines up well. And that looks really good where it's at. Okay. We're going to place some glue on the back of this. That's optional. You definitely don't have to if you don't want to, or adhesive in general like a liquid nails. And then we're going to shoot it on using my trim nailer, and we want to make sure that we place a trim nail right where the cabinets meet, where there's a thick piece of wood. This here is definitely a little more flimsy, so it's not the best place to shoot the nail. So we're going to place glue on and place it onto the base cabinet. If you do use standard wood glue, be sure to have a paper towel on hand to wipe any excess that comes out behind the toe kick. This is where adhesive would be a little better. It does not run out like wood glue. To install the vent, very straightforward. We're going to set it up here, and we want to mark the holes that we got to drill. So we're going to mark where I need to pre-drill the holes. Using an 1/8 inch drill bit, we're going to pre-drill those holes. We're going to place this up here. And the screws that came with it, we're going to drive into those holes. And that's all there is to installing the grill for the vent. I now need to install the rest of the toe kick. Because this kitchen layout did not need a filler strip, if you need to know how to place a filler strip on a cabinet, I made a detailed video about that. Check out the link in the description below to the kitchen install that I did previously. If you're enjoying this type of content, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. You'll get free building and DIY tips straight to your inbox. Now that we have the kitchen base cabinets installed, it's time to install the kitchen wall cabinets. To check that out, check out this video. It'll help you out.